Welcome back. We were talking during the break about some of the players that we think should be considered a little more, I guess you would say. Marquise Lee is one of them that you mentioned.
Well, he's going to be a good one wherever he goes. And I wouldn't mind seeing him at the Jets. I mean, I think we've got some quarterback problems, but we did go 8-8. We lost a couple of ball games we shouldn't have lost. They won a couple of games they shouldn't have won.
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't think they were going to get to the playoffs, but 8-8 is not bad for a team that struggles constantly. But I love my Jets. I'm old Joe Namath and Richard Todd holdovers, and I'm a loyal fan. But I'd like to see him get Marquise Lee.
One that's kind of interesting to me is Cyrus Kouandjio from Alabama. He's a huge specimen of a man if you've ever seen him walk by. But they said he had a little knee injury or something that's kind of held him back. But they said he's plummeted after going to the combine, and he ran like a 5.8 40 or something like that, and had a very bad combine.
He suffered all season with that injury practically.
And another one from Alabama who I think's kind of he's not even mentioned in the first round, who I think is going to have a better pro career than anybody, and that's McCarron.
Oh, yes. They just ignore him. The man wins 2 national championships, finishes his senior at 11-2, and nobody's I can't even find him on the list.
And he finished second in the Heisman running,
yes.
Won the Maxwell Award, which is the Offensive Player of the Year award. He's smart. He makes good decisions with what he does.
And a team like the Texans, if nobody gets him, go for your defense. But you got quarterbacks out there that are going to be out there, and somebody's going to land A.J. McCarron.
I would pick him over Bridgewater.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And it's not just because I'm an Alabama fan. Bridgewater didn't impress me. I saw him play a little bit, but A.J. McCarron's a smart man, got a good arm. They talk about his long pass. I think he'll be fine there.
Well, the pass he threw in the Auburn game that was a 99-yard pass, but it went 50 yards in the air, and it was a bullet.
And what's wrong with that? Yeah,
I mean
he didn't get any credit. He doesn't get any credit.
That's his holdback. They say is his arm strength, but everybody's on him about his arm strength, and it just kind of. I don't know. I know they're all these scouts and everybody about critiquing everybody, but the guy's a winner.
He is.
And
he's proven that over the last 4 years, high school, college, and he's going to carry that on wherever he goes because that's his mentality.
Well, just look at Tebow. His arm was terrible.
Yes.
And Denver found a way to win, and if he could have thrown the ball at all,
they would have won more.
More.
Yes.
And McCarron can throw the ball. And I just don't understand why nobody has him on the radar. Nobody
had him on the radar during college. He's a great quarterback. I don't know, and he's got a little bit of an attitude about that right now too.
Yeah. Well, next year's, I think we mentioned it earlier. Next year's group of quarterbacks, Jameis Winston's going to come out next year.
Oh yes, he won't stay around Florida State.
And then you got the Bryce Petty kid from Baylor.
Will he be a senior next year?
I think he will be a senior next year. And some people are considering Braxton Miller from Ohio State. But, I mean, the guy that when Braxton got hurt this year.
Looked better than Braxton.
Yeah, his backup was better than him. But
almost with the Georgia quarterback that came in and took.
Yeah, yeah.
So Georgia's going to be fine with a quarterback.
Another player that kind of is interesting to me is Timmy Jernigan. He was a nose tackle for Florida State at number 8, who was so winded right there at the end of the national championship game. But he was he's big and he's fast too for a couple of plays. And in NFL, you only have to play a couple of plays because you swap out nickel defenses and all this stuff. And
you're not going to be on the field as much in the NFL as you are in college. You can catch your breath, and they'll have the different defenses come in.
And he will be a run stopper. Who else we got on here?
We got that Kadeem Edwards, offensive guard. I think he's going to be a good one for somebody. He probably won't go in the first round, but I believe he's a good pro player. I believe he'll work out fine.
I think another guy, he ran a 4.40 up there at the combine and surprised everybody, is Trey Mason.
Oh, Trey Mason
from Auburn.
Yes.
He reminds me he's built kind of like Ray Rice. He's short and stocky, but he ran a 4.40.
And he runs low to the ground.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he was so good at Auburn this year. He could run over you or run by you, either one.
Kind of glad he's gone.
They got 3 more down there just like him.
I know that's right.
C.J. Mosley, who's kind of led Alabama's defense for a couple of years. I think he's mentioned a couple of times on here, but look at the players, look at the linebackers right now over the past couple of years that have come out of Alabama that are starting. Dante Hightower at New England. Then here's C.J. Mosley, who is played with Hightower at Alabama. So.
And when Rolando McClain left Alabama, C.J. slowly ended up taking over his job as a captain.
Mm-hmm.
And he's proved himself well in the last couple of years at Alabama, and he will be a ball player that will help a team. That brings me back to Rolando McClain. What happened to him?
I guess the money went to his head.
Sad.
A couple more players before we move on to something else. Aaron Donald is the guy from Pittsburgh I was talking about a while ago.
Haven't even heard him.
He won the Outland Trophy. Yeah. He won every defensive award there was, and he's not even mentioned in the first round. And another one who was the MVP of the Senior Bowl, Dee Ford. And Chris Davis. Both of them seniors. Neither one of them are even mentioned. And I know there's a lot of players to choose from, but I mean, you play in the best conference in the country, one step under the NFL, and you've done it for 4 years. I mean, these guys are seniors. Yeah,
they're prepared for pro ball.
Yeah,
they have prepared themselves for 4 years, and whoever gets Chris Davis and Dee Ford, they'll benefit from them.
I guess the 2 most shocking to me that nobody's even mentioned is A.J. McCarron and Aaron Donald from Pittsburgh. That Aaron Donald was an absolute beast.
Yes.
They played Florida State the first game, and
played them close, didn't they?
No, it was a blowout. But Jameis had a tough time to get started with because they couldn't block him.
That's right.
And
they had to adjust to this.
And once they got adjusted to him, double teaming and triple teaming him, chipping him coming off the line.
That's all they had.
Yeah, it was over when they figured out how to stop him. But anyway, we finally got to talk about the draft. So now we'll move on to other things.
Surprise me.
Well, every week there seems to be more and more schools and kids getting in trouble for stuff, and
we just got the police records in now.
Yeah, the University of Miami may have to report themselves again to the NCAA because one of their coaches was seen observing some of the football players out running routes and running plays out on the practice field, and there was some of the media was at a Miami baseball game and happened to see the coach standing over, wasn't on the field, wasn't even close to the field, but he was watching them practice out on the field, and I guess that's an NCAA violation.
You can't be anywhere around.
And just last year they gave themselves 3 years probation from the Ponzi scheme that was going on down there. So I just, did you see Miami play any last year?
No.
There might have been. I saw a couple of their games. I can't remember if it was Florida State that played them at Miami. It was a big school, and you were thinking it would be packed, and there probably wasn't 20,000 people at the ball game. And sports in general in Miami is
on the
decline. Because of the economy, I guess. But
they moved the baseball team out of there.
Yeah.
The Dolphins about the only thing they got going, and Dolphins were 8-8. Haven't been a team in the last 6 since Dan Marino left them. The Heat does keep them going. LeBron's got them going. That's good for them. But Miami's got that rep of having thugs.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, it's been like that.
That goes back to the
90s, 80s.
Yeah, the 80s
Yes.
and 90s. Another player, and this is almost unbelievable. He's a Louisville signee. I don't even know if I should read this on here, but Fort Pierce Central linebacker charged with lewd behavior with a minor. Sharif Rahid Muhammad, a star linebacker at Fort Pierce Central High School, recently committed to Louisville, was arrested Monday on a felony sex-related charge stemming from an investigation that began last year, according to Tuesday's results. Rahid Muhammad is 17, and he was arrested on a felony charge of lewd, lascivious behavior with the victim aged 12 to 16. Well, to make a long story short, he impregnated a 14-year-old girl who had an abortion in November. He got her pregnant in June, but it was his cousin.
Louisville back out of that deal.
Well, you know, that's what I was about to say. That at the end of this story, Louisville is aware of what's going on, but has not made a statement about it.
Come on, Louisville, step up to the plate.
It's like we were talking about last week. You know, these kids. Somebody does something like this. I know they're innocent until proven guilty, but if I was a coach, you would be temporarily suspended until you got charged, and if you got found guilty, you were dismissed.
That's it. And most time when these things start up, they're usually guilty. I mean, rumors start, arrests are made, accusations are made, and when it all comes down to it, most times they end up being true. And I mean, even if somebody said that about him, I mean, if that's what's going around, Louisville needs to back out of that deal right now.
I know. I just don't understand.
I mean, even with last year, the wide receiver that Alabama was going after, nobody's heard about him since he got in trouble.
No.
I mean, Alabama washes your hands. You got to wash your hands of those kind of players.
Well,
they're a cancer to your program.
Well, and they're going to get your program they're a cancer, and they're going to get your program in trouble.
Yes.
So I don't know. This was shocking news to me. It's not really a police story, but the Big Ten is reportedly discussing adding Friday night games to get more people to watch Big Ten football.
That's a mistake. But then again, Ohio probably doesn't have much of a high school program. So
I don't know, but
you can't do that.
You couldn't do it here.
No. And you do see a lot of small colleges now playing on Friday night because they can get some, because they play every night in college football, I believe now.
Yeah.
I mean, so you can get TV time. But I think that would be a mistake for Ohio State to be playing on Friday night.
It says Big Ten Commissioner Jim Delaney has reportedly reached out to teams engaged to gauge their interest in hosting or playing Friday night football games. I guess since ESPN's coming out with the new SEC network and CBS carries SEC games and ABC usually has one college football game on Saturdays. It's usually a Big Ten or Big 12 game, and of course NBC has Notre Dame, and they're probably losing money on that deal.
They got to be.
But
the ABC game is probably overshadowed by the CBS.
Yeah,
on Saturday. I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is too.
I never watch ABC on Saturday.
I don't either.
I'm glued to CBS because that's where the ball games are.
Unless it's a blowout, Missouri and Kentucky or somebody playing, and it's a blowout, I'll turn it over there to watch a Big Ten game.
Yeah, two bad teams play.
Oh, me.
I mean, it just doesn't. Like Northern Yankee football doesn't. It's not exciting.
No.
I mean, it's. I mean, if you like a lot of points, great. But I like a hard-fought ball game in the trenches, and they don't have that.
Well, another thing, the NCAA is considering doing away with kickoffs. And last year, the NFL and the NCAA moved the kickoff back to the 30-yard line to get more kicks in the end zone to eliminate violent collisions on the kickoff. Well,
That doesn't make sense. I mean, that's part of football. The kickoff. I mean, you open the game up with the kickoff. I mean, what are you going to do? Just give them some of these rules? You're killing football with some of these rules.
well, it's just like in the NFL last year, and I think even in college they were talking about doing away with the PAT. So that's just a waste of time in the game because there's such a high percentage of them made. Well, sometimes that 1 point's the difference in the ball game.
Exactly.
And
I know in a couple of Alabama games over the few years, Alabama beat Michigan once. No, Michigan beat Alabama because we missed an extra point. The same year, Florida lost to us because they missed an extra point. So that's important. I mean, and it's part of football. It's been with football forever.
well, that's
I mean,
it.
you got kids that have broke records because they don't miss.
Well, I mean, most of these schools' leading scorers over their career are the kickers.
Uh-huh.
But, that's just another.
Well, I do like the fact that I wish Saban would quit worrying about the 10-second rule and start pushing that no return on a field goal. I believe he'd have better luck with that than he would the 10-second rule.
I do too. We'll be back in just a minute.
Hello, I'm Robert McKay, Mayor of Asheville, Alabama, and candidate for House Seat 30, covering North St. Clair and Southern Etowah County. I would love to represent you in this district. I'm a pro-business, and I believe in small government and less taxes. I can relate to all the people. I am a small business owner, drive a bus for the St. Clair school system, and can relate to all the working men and women in this district. I'm a strong believer in education. Educated people will enrich our economy. I ask for your support in the June 3rd Republican primary. Please visit my Facebook page at robertmckay.33449 for more information. This is a paid political advertisement by Friends of Robert McKay. Thank you.
Well, we hope you're enjoying the show. Hey, go by and check us out on Facebook at This Week in College Football and leave your comments or questions that you may want us to read on next week's show. Also, we'll be updating our site with stories that you may not hear us read. So go by and check us out at This Week in College Football.